My dear students, welcome to academic research. You are mostly welcome for OJ 2020 possible questions and answer. In my last video lecture, already I have given some important questions and its solution on OJ 2090 possible questions and answers, from which in last year around 90% of the same question came in the OJE exam. I am also expecting this year also from this question series the 90% question will come so that the student will secure excellent mark in OJE 2020. And in this video lecture, I am going to start the basic electrical engineering, which is very helpful for BTech lateral entry students. So let us start this session today. The first question is, in the circuit shown below, the galvanometer reads the zero. The value of resistance R is. It means we have to find out the unknown resistance R. The galvanometer shows the zero means the bridge is in the balance condition. In balance condition, the multiplication of opposite arm resistances, that is R into 10, must be equal to 40 into 7. By this way, we can calculate the value of resistance R very easily. So you just remember this. When the galvanometer current is zero means the bridge is in the balance condition, so that the opposite multiplication of opposite arm resistances must be equal. That is R into 10 is equal to, that is R into 10 is equal to 40 into 7. Hence, R is equal to 280 by 10, 28 ohm. So, answer B is the correct answer. Therefore, this is very simple. You should understand this. So, you can easily attend this question. So, answer B is the correct answer. Next question. If three number of lamps 100, 200, 400 watts of 230 volts connected in series and 690 volts are applied, then which statement is correct? That is, all lamps will be damaged, no lamp will be damaged, 100-watt lamp will be damaged, 200 lamp will be damaged. So let us see the solution. So here three lamps are connected in series. If the lamps are connected in series, there is no chance of damaging the lamp. But what happens if we connect all lamps in series? We have to supply more voltage. That is, for three lamps, here we have to supply 230 into 3, that is 690 volts we have to supply. But if we connect these three lamps in parallel, then we have to supply only 230 volts. Therefore, it will in series connection it will take more voltage, but the lamp will not be damaged. So generally we are connecting all appliances in our household wiring in parallel, because we have supplying only one voltage, that is 220 to 230 volts. So therefore answer B will be correct. Next question. The multiplying power of the shunt of a milliammeter is 8. If the circuit current is 200 milliampere, then current through the meter. So this question came from measurement question only. Therefore, let us see the solution. This is also a very simple question. Just to understand, this is not critical. This is very simple question. All questions are coming from fundamental part only, and this is not difficult. So this is the meter. So this is a millimeter, which having Im the meter current. Meter current means this is called rating current of the ammeter. The maximum current safely we can allow the meter, that is Im, which is called rating current of the ammeter. But actually what happens, we want to uh, ଆମେ ଏଠି କ'ଣ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି ନା 200 ମିଲି ଆମ୍ପିୟର ମେଜରମେଣ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ପ୍ରକୃତରେ ମିଟରର ସେତିକି କାପାସିଟି ନାହିଁ, ବା ଇଏ ହେଉଛି 10 ମିଲି ଆମ୍ପିୟର ମିଟର ହେଇପାରେ କିମ୍ବା 5 ମିଲି ଆମ୍ପିୟର ହେଇପାରେ ବା 6 ମିଲି ଆମ୍ପିୟର ହେଇପାରେ, ରାଇଟ୍? ଇଟ୍ ମିନ୍ସ actually we want to measure 200 ampere current in this meter, which having the rating current is less than 200 milliampere. Therefore, what we will do to extend the range of this meter, just we have connected a shunt resistance here. This is called shunt resistance. So when a shunt resistance is connected, then we have to find out the multiplying power of the shunt. Then what is multiplying power? Multiplying power is nothing but, you should remember this, that is total current to be measured divided by meter current, that is I by Im. Here I by Im given 20, therefore we can easily find the value of Im. So I by Im given to, 8. So I is given 200. Therefore Im is equal to 200 by 8, that is 25 milliampere. Therefore meter current answer, that is B is the correct answer. So let us see the next question. An external resistance R is connected to a cell of internal resistance R, that is small r. The maximum current flows in the external resistance. It means he is asking what is the condition so that the maximum current will flow in the external resistance R in a battery. So let us see the circuit diagram of battery. This is the circuit diagram of battery with an external resistor R is connected. So if we'll draw another simplified diagram, it means we will expand this portion, that is the battery having an internal resistance small r and EMF is E and external resistance is R. Therefore total resistance R plus R, so total current I is equal to E by R plus R. Therefore here current to be maximum, what happens, what we will do? Just you make it capital R is equal to 0. So when resistance, this resistance is very small, that is the internal resistance practically very small in a cell. Therefore the maximum current will be flow when capital R is equal to 0. But in your mind question may be arise, why not small r will be 0? But we cannot make small r or internal resistance of the battery is equal to 0, because battery means always it is having some internal resistance. Therefore, small r cannot be 0. Only capital R will be 0. Therefore, I will be maximum when capital R becomes 0. So next question, in the following figure, what is the following figure? Just you see this figure. What happens in these two figure? Here 100 watt and 200 volt lamp. This is 40 watt and 200 volt lamp. Both are connected in series. So he is asking which lamp will be brighter. This is also very simple question. You should understand this. So both lamps are connected in series. Therefore, current will be same in both the lamp. In series connection, always current remains same. But what will be differ? The voltage only will be differ in this lamp and this lamp. Right? Voltage means already here written 200 volt. This is also 200 volt. But we have to calculate what is the voltage drop in this lamp and in this lamp. The rating voltage is V. This is also, sorry, rating voltage is 200 volt. Here also 200 volt. But we have to calculate what is the maximum voltage drop in these two lamp. So let us to find out the maximum voltage drop, we have to calculate the resistance of these two lamp. So to calculate resistance, let us find what is the power. Power is equal to V into I, voltage into current. Or in place of current, we can write V by R according to your Ohm's law, V by R. Therefore, power is equal to V square by R, or R is equal to V square by power or watts. Therefore, R is equal to V square by watts. For lamp A, R is equal to 400 ohm. For lamp B, R is equal to 1000 ohms. So maximum voltage drop occurs in the lamp B. Therefore, lamp B will be more brighter. So answer B is the correct answer. Next question, in the following circuit, the value of RAB, the value of RAB, it means, what do you mean by value of RAB? It means what is the total resistance between terminal A and B. That is called equivalent resistance between terminal A and B, or total resistance across the terminal A and B, that is denoted by RAB. So to know this total resistance, what we will do? We have to first know how it is connected. Either it is connected in parallel or series. If it is connected in series, then simply we can add three resistances, R plus R plus R, that equal to 3R. If it is connected in parallel, then 1 by RAB is equal to 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R. This is the formula for calculating total resistance in parallel connection. So there is a simple way to know whether it is connected in series or in parallel. So let us see this. Let us see, this is the terminal A. From this, a short circuit is coming to point P. It means what? No voltage drop across this path. So the terminal A or point A can be moved to point P easily. We can move this point, or we can move this P to A anyway, because no voltage drop will be occurs. But here we cannot move this P to Q because there is a voltage drop. This side potential, that is P potential, is different from Q potential. Therefore, we cannot move this P point to Q point. But here the potential is same as point A because this is a short circuit path. Therefore, here we can name this resistor as AQ. So if we'll move this point to this A to this P, then this also AQ. If we'll move this Q to B, this is also AQ. So this is the formula. Sorry, this is the trick to know whether it is connected in parallel or in series. If we'll find like this AQ, 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 then we say that this is connected in parallel. The three resistors are connected in parallel, right? Therefore, in parallel connection, we have to easily found the equivalent resistance, that is 1 by Rab is equal to 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by, that is 3 by R, or Rab is equal to just reverse this, that is R by 3. So answer B is the correct answer. So this is the answer, that is R by 3. Next question. Kirchhoff's voltage law deals with conservation of energy, conservation of charge, conservation of momentum, conservation of angular momentum. So we already know that the Kirchhoff's voltage law always applicable to a closed circuit or closed path, right? In that closed path, the voltage neither be lost or generated. It means it follows the principle of conservation of energy, that is, energy neither be created nor be destroyed. Therefore, answer A is the correct answer, that is conservation of energy. Because voltage we can represent in the form of energy, that is electrical energy. Next question, the basic requirement for inducing EMF in a coil, flux should link the coil, there should change in the flux linking the coil should form a closed loop, none of the above. So let us first understand this question. What is the basic requirement of inducing EMF in a coil? It means EMF induce हवा पाई आमर minimum requirement कौन, or what is the minimum condition for inducing an EMF in a coil? So there are generally two conditions must be satisfied uh, for inducing the EMF in a coil. To understand this, let us see this figure. This is a bar magnet, and this is the magnetic lines of flux which emerges from north pole and enters to the south pole. Emerges from north pole, enters to the south pole. Here also this flux linked with this coil. Let us assume that both magnet and coil are stationary. It means if both are stationary and the magnetic lines of flux links the coil, but this galvanometer indicates 0. It means what? So no EMF will be induced. This is the, then what is the condition for inducing EMF? Suppose you will move this coil towards the magnet by your hand or by any means. We can moving this coil towards the magnet, or if we'll move this magnet towards the coil, or both we can move. Both we can move the magnet, also we can move the coil. then what happens? The galvanometer indicates some voltage. It means the EMF will be induced. Then what happens when both are stationary? No EMF is induced, but when we'll move the coil or magnet, then voltage is induced or the deflection is showing in the galvanometer. It means when we'll move the coil, the flux is changing. Means here the suppose let us assume that um, 5 Weber per meter square. Here flux density. Here suppose let us assume that 10 Weber per meter square. So it means the when we move this coil, the flux is changing from 5 Weber to 10 Weber. It means when the flux linked with the coil and that flux also change, then only EMF will be induced. Therefore, two conditions for inducing EMF. It means flux should be linked the coil and also should change. Then only the EMF will be induced. Okay. Therefore, answer uh, be the correct answer. There should be change in flux linking the coil. So next question. In a DC generator, the main function of compensating winding. So first you should know what is compensating winding. Generally, there are so many types of winding in a DC generator, that is field winding, armature winding, compensating winding, then dummy coil winding. Um, so mm, compensating winding generally placed in the pole face, right? So and it is connected in series with armature winding, but 180 degree out of phase, so that what is our benefit when suppose we have connected a light load to the generator initially. After 5 minutes a heavy load is connected, after again 5 minutes a light load is connected. So when load is changeable or variable, that is light load to heavy load or heavy load to light, like that, what happens? The armature reaction takes place. The armature reaction having two effects. One is demagnetizing effect and another is distortion effect. That is the magnetic flux is distorted. That is, in one person there are the magnetic flux is very high, and in another person the flux is very low, so that the sparking will be occurs in the commutating surface. It may be damage the commutator and also armature winding. Therefore, to compensate this effect, it is called compensating winding, because it compensates the distortion effect of armature reaction of DC generator, right? Therefore, main function of this compensating winding is it eliminates, sorry, reduce distortion effect of armature reaction. So answer C is the correct answer. So you can here see this is the compensating winding. This is the compensating winding. It is connected directly to armature winding, and it is out of phase with this field winding, right? So next question you can see, the stray losses consist of stray losses is nothing but the combination of magnetic or mechanical losses, or you can say magnetic losses also called iron losses, iron and mechanical losses, right? Therefore answer A is the correct answer. Just you have to remember this. The stray losses is the combination of iron or mechanical losses, or um, magnetic and mechanical losses. So next question 13, efficiency of a DC generator is maximum when its variable losses is equal to constant losses. Answer A is the correct answer. This also you have to remember. There is a simple formula you have to calculate here. Just you remember. Uh, so this is your constant loss. Constant loss means that is your bearing losses, then friction, that is friction losses plus mechanic, sorry, iron losses. Those are belongs to constant losses. So next question, if WC is the constant loss, R is the armature resistance of DC generator, then load current IL corresponding to maximum efficiency. It means we have to calculate what is the load current uh, corresponding to maximum efficiency, when maximum efficiency occurs. Already we know that maximum efficiency occurs when variable loss is equal to constant loss from above question. So what is, let us calculate this. So the this is your variable loss IL square RA is equal to WC, or we can easily find out what is IL. IL is equal to WC by RA. Therefore, this is the load current corresponding to maximum efficiency, because this is the condition for maximum efficiency, right? So next question, if the flux per pole of a DC generator is halved but its speed is doubled, its generated EMF is halved, doubled, remains same, be quadrupled. This is also very simple question. You can just remember the EMF formula, that is P phi Zn by 60A. This is the formula for EMF generated in a DC generator, where the question is if the flux is half. So you make it half and speed will be double. Make it double, that is 2n. So this half, these two will be automatically cancelled with each other. Therefore, total factor remains same, just as previous. Therefore, it remains same. The EMF becomes same. Next, dummy coil. Dummy coil in a DC machine is used. Dummy coil कौन पे यूज करा होची ना to increase the efficiency, to improve commutation, mechanical balance of the armature. ତେଣୁ from the word dummy itself, already you know that what is the meaning of dummy. Dummy means just we are given a substitute, but it has no function. Here also same. This is, you can see here, this is the dummy coil, and this is the armature winding coil, right? Armature conductor in this figure. So then what is the you can see here in the same distance, this armature conductor, here one conductor, here one conductor. Suppose our this uh, armature winding is completed in these slots, then in this slot we don't need to provide armature conductor, because you uh, know the cost of the copper, and also the design charge or winding charge there, but if will not provide any coil here, then just to apply fundamental knowledge here, this side and the entire armature will be imbalance. Imbalance means this side is lighter than this side, because here armature copper conductors are there, here no copper conductor, means this side will be imbalanced. Therefore, during rotation it will create problem. Therefore, this is called mechanical balance. If will not provide here, it will be imbalance. To mechanic only to do the mechanical balance of the armature, because you know that armature is the rotating part of the machine. Therefore, if will not if the weight of this is not same this, then it will be imbalance. So it will not use to generated EMF. Here in this conductor no EMF will be generated, right? And also it is not connected to commutator. Therefore it is called dummy coil. But main function is to make the balance of the armature, right? Therefore the answer C is the correct answer. So, question number 16, the voltage regulation of a DC generator is zero. This implies that generator is flat compound, differential shunt wound or series wound. Generally, the voltage regulation, you should know what is voltage regulation. Voltage regulation, simple way we can understand the voltage regulation. Suppose let us go to your village, there is some transformer, right? In suppose let us to know the voltage regulation in very simple way. First you disconnect all the loads of the transformer of your village, then you measure the output voltage. Let us assume that you have got the output voltage is 230 volt. So after you connect full load to the transformer, then you connect the terminal voltage of the transformer. Suppose you got 200 volt after connecting all loads. So this difference provides the voltage at no load and voltage at full load provides the voltage regulation. Suppose after connecting all loads, the voltage, terminal voltage is coming the same as no load voltage. It means the transformer is a excellent transformer, right? It is a very good transformer. Therefore, voltage regulation means যেতে voltage regulation কম হবো তার অর্থ that is a very good machine. Similarly, in case of DC generator also, the voltage regulation is equal to no load voltage minus full load voltage divided by no load voltage into 100, that is percentage voltage regulation you can calculate. Then if the no load voltage will be same as full load voltage, then automatically voltage regulation will be zero. That is an excellent machine. Then this happens only in the flat compound machine, that is cumulative compound DC generator with flat compounding. Flat compounding means what? So this is your flat compounding. The characteristics is like this. This is your flat compounding. This is called this is the output voltage and this is the load current. This is the graph between voltage and load current. When load gradually will be changes and accordingly will change the excitation or will adjust the excitation of cumulative compound generator, then it will be just the graph will, we can obtain this graph. This is the straight line. This straight line is flat compounding, this is over compounded, this is under compounded, and this is the graph for shunt generator. Already we know that shunt generator, what happens, we will increase the load, right? Then what happens, the terminal voltage decreases, therefore terminal voltage gradually decreases, and this is the differentially compound. These characteristics is very bad, therefore differential compound generator is rarely used, right? So we can only we can find only zero voltage regulation cumulative compound generator with flat compounding situation, right? Therefore answer A is the correct answer. So here you can follow the voltage regulation. Zero means no load terminal voltage is equal to full load terminal voltage. This is possible in case of cumulative compound generator with flat compounding. Next question, the speed of a shunt motor practically constant. Why? তার অর্থ shunt generator speed কোন ପାଇଁ? Sorry, shunt motor speed practically constant. Main ଜିନିଷ ହେଲା ଆମର speed is proportional to EB by phi, that is back EMF divided by field flux, right? Already we know that back EMF EB is related to IARA, right? And V, IARA and V, right? So as IARA is negligible in a shunt motor, why IARA is negligible in a shunt motor? Because already we know that is IA, the armature resistance is negligible, very less in a shunt motor compared to a series motor, that is you can say 0.5 ohm or zero point 0.1 ohm or maximum up to some 2-3 ohms, like that, that is negligible. In some cases it may be 40 ohms, like that maximum, but compared to other motor it is very negligible. And also the armature current also constant, therefore the drop is negligible. And V, as V is constant, the flux also constant, because flux only depend upon field flux, sorry, supply voltage. So Ra and phi both are constant, therefore answer all of the above is correct. So next question, DC series motor used to start a heavy load. Yeah, the DC series motor generally କୋଉଠି ଆମେ ୟୁଜ୍ କରିବା ନା ଯୋଉଠି ତମର ହେଭି ଲୋଡ୍ କୋଉଠି ଅଛି ନା କ୍ରେନ୍, ତମର ଲିଫ୍ଟ, ଦେନ୍ କ୍ରସର ମିଲ୍, କଂକ୍ରିଟ, ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଘରେ ଛାତ ପଡୁଛି ଯୋଉ କଂକ୍ରିଟ ୟୁଜ୍ କରାହଉଛି ତାକୁ ଯୋଉ ଚିପ୍ସ ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ତାକୁ ଷ୍ଟୋନ୍ କ୍ରସର, ଷ୍ଟୋନକୁ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଯୋଉ କ୍ରସର ମିଲ୍, ତାପରେ ତମର ଦେନ୍ ଆମେ କୋଉଠି ୟୁଜ୍ କର ଥର୍ମାଲ ପାୱାର ପ୍ଲାଣ୍ଟରେ ଯୋଉ କୋଇଲାକୁ ଆମେ କୋଇଲାର ଷ୍ଟକ୍ ୟାର୍ଡରୁ ତାକୁ ନବା ପାଇଁ ବଏଲର ପାଖକୁ ଯୋଉ ଦରକାର ହଉଛି ଆମର କଣ, that machine also use the series motor. So generally it is used in the cranes. Because what is the cause why series motor used to start a heavy load? Because the torque is proportional to I into Ia, that is field flux into armature current. But in case of series motor, the armature current is directly proportional to flux, therefore TA is proportional to phi square or Ia square, that is square of the uh, flux. Therefore, you can, if you will see the characteristics curve, then initially we can find out the starting torque is very high in case of DC series motor. Therefore, it is used to start the heavy load. So you can see here. Answer is the correct answer. Then which type of field winding used for separately excited DC machine? For separately excited DC machine, shunt field winding is used. Next question. Overheating of a DC machine may be due to overloads, incorrect voltage, sparking at the buses. All are correct. Due to overload also overheating occurs. If incorrect voltage means if the voltage is less than rating voltage or higher the rating voltage, then also overheating takes place. Then sparking at the process also due to sparking, overheating occurs. Therefore, all of the above is the correct answer. D is the correct answer. Then carbon brushes are preferable to copper brushes because they have long life, they reduce armature reaction, they have lower resistance, they reduce sparking. So solution, because carbon having more resistance, it reduces reactance voltage so that sparking reduces. So um, due to poor commutation, so sparking generally occurs because the reactance voltage increases in a copper brush. Copper having very low resistance. So if we will replace the carbon brush by copper brush, as carbon having more resistance, therefore it the voltage drop occurs due to high resistance, that is the reactance voltage decreases, therefore it reduces sparking. So it carbon buses are preferable to copper buses, they due to reduce sparking. So answer D is the correct answer. The mechanical power developed in a DC motor is maximum when back EMF EB is equal to dash of the applied voltage. That is correct answer is half of the applied voltage. This we can calculate here. The back EMF EB, already we know that V supply voltage minus armature voltage drop, right? Therefore, mechanical power is equal to EB into IA, which is equal to VIA minus IA square RA. In place of EB, we can put here EB is equal to V minus IRA. Here we can put in place of EB, V minus IA RA. So multiply this IA. So IA square RA. So for maximum mechanical power, this is the mathematical formula we can apply to find out the maximum of a factor, that is dPm by dIA, which is equal to 0. So just you take the differentiation, V minus 2IR is equal to 0. So here we have got one condition, that is IAR is equal to V by 2. So we can apply here V is equal to EB plus IRA, or in place of IRA we can put here V by 2. Therefore EB is equal to V by 2, right? So answer is when back EMF is half of the supply voltage, then maximum mechanical power developed in a DC motor. Then the running speed of a DC series motor is determined by the field excitation, load, armature resistance, none of the above. The correct answer is armature resistance. The running speed only depend upon uh, correct answer is determined by armature resistance is the correct answer. As the load increases, the this motor speed also speed up. That is differentially compound motor speed increases. When load increases, the differentially compound motors speed also increases. This is the having one characteristics of differential compound motor. Therefore, answer D is the correct answer. Next question. If back EMF in a DC motor vanishes suddenly, the motor will run at very high speed. So answer A is the correct answer because back EMF DC motor act as a regulator. When back EMF vanishes suddenly, to adjust that back EMF, motor will start running very high speed. So up to adjustment of full back EMF that is lost by the machine, it will be run uh, uh, in the high speed. When back EMF adjusted automatically, the speed will be become normal. That therefore answer is the correct answer. So let us end this session today. So this is the question series 1 by lecture number 1 for OJ 2020. After that, I will start the next question series or lecture series so that I will complete all the syllabus of here, particularly for basic electrical engineering. I will discuss here only basic electrical engineering syllabus that will only helpful for BTech lateral entry students. Not it will helpful, it will uh, uh, make you to achieve 100% mark in your OJ 2020. Just you follow all my question series or lecture series for OJ 2020. Then I will give you guarantee you can secure excellent mark. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. Let us stop here.